What's up with y'all? It's your man Sam, I'm back with another video now. Look, we got this could be the end of Jake Paul's career. Feel me? The end of Jake Paul, whatever. Let's get it.
So over the last couple of years, I have been observing podcasts from afar. And one growing trend I've seen is that podcasts almost always face some sort of turmoil as they become more popular and money starts being discussed. The problem most podcasts seem to have is that the main talent sees themselves as the essential piece to the show. Because after all, they're typically the one bringing in the audience in the first place. And so at that point, they begin to see their co-host as replaceable employees. That's exactly what we saw last year with the Joe Budden podcast, when Joe Budden did the completely on-brand move of self-destructing and destroying everything he has built up for years.
Rory, you are in breach of your contract, and from this point forward, you are fired, and you're not welcome back.
Though I will say,
I don't like power. I feel like you shouldn't be doing stuff like that if you don't love it, for real. To be honest, you feel me? But I hate power hungry ass niggas, bro. Nigga a little bit. Like, you feel me? I don't like power hungry people. You feel me? Because niggas just do anything if they feel any type of way. You feel me? They got a little bit of power. They feel like they in a bigger position than you. They gonna, you feel me, act on that.
Say in retrospect, it was probably in the best interest of all parties involved that they went their separate ways. But damn, do I miss that trio. Recently, we have been talking a lot about Logan Paul's podcast Impaulsive and the problems they have been having in regards to their C-Mic co-host, Curious George, ever since he walked off the Bobby Lee episode.
And now we're going to have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the next 2 months.
You could tell at that moment that not only was George upset, but Logan was also really pissed off as well. If there's one thing that Logan takes seriously, it's his content. And if he feels there's any sort of liability on his team, it's been well documented that he has no problem essentially telling people to take a hike for the sake of continuing to make what he sees as the best content possible. And in my opinion, George being on this podcast is kind of like a ticking time bomb for Logan, really just waiting to explode. He's already replaced this C-Mic twice in the past, and I see it happening again soon. He already made it very clear that he completely sided with Bobby.
Bobby, it was his fault. Bobby, you were right.
And from the very beginning of this newest episode, you can see Logan and George trading these awkward jabs at each other back and forth.
I just want to let you guys know that this is off to a fantastic start.
Thanks to you, buddy.
I'll pull up my notes. I got something to talk about.
I got something to say.
Okay, can I ask you questions?
Sure, George. I guess this is a podcast, an open forum where, it's by design. That's the goal.
Now, in the last few videos, I've been pretty tough on Curious George, but here I'm definitely going to be throwing him some bail.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know too much about the situation. I just saw the title, you feel me, the video like this, so they gonna have to fill me in on it, you feel me?
Because around 12 minutes in, they begin to have a debate about religion, and obviously George is the religious dude on the podcast, whereas Logan essentially represents this agnostic viewpoint of the world.
A person who believes nothing
He bases his reality on
basically
facts and
atheist,
science, and basically not hope and belief like George. And so Logan comes from this viewpoint that because things like being gay or having sex before marriage are looked down upon in the Bible, he basically thinks religion has no merit in its totality.
I just don't know if I can get behind. Like, that's silly to me. That seems silly to me. So I think it's a silly.
I did hear him say that.
I think it deserves satire. Like, come on.
Yeah, but that's not.
Subscribe to a doctrine that slams homosexuality. Come on, bro. That's ridiculous. I just am definitely questioning why we have to perpetuate a belief that is fucking silly.
And George's rebuttal to this is that just because some people in his religion hold these beliefs doesn't mean that you can just lump all Christians into that line of thinking, and that he feels that Logan doesn't even know enough about the Bible to speak on it in general. Then the situation continues to get heated as Logan continues to be very disrespectful.
Because I'll be honest with you, bro, Jesus Christ fucks.
Oh, God.
And people don't think that about him.
And it's safe to say
he almost lost me. I almost I almost clicked out the video.
That this relationship
I'm gonna stay a little bit longer, but that statement was a little crazy.
Might not last the test of time, but something that will last the test of time is your face. That is, if you take advantage of the offer from today's video sponsor, DIDHE. Y'all know DIDHE by now. They have the skincare system. They walk daily, you fresh around quickly. I'm getting pretty bad. 20% off for even sweet gift with said purchase. Don't be like that link below. Logan would just not back down, as he was just dying for that got you moment.
You always yell at me about gay people. I never once talk about gay people.
Because you're subscribed to the doctrine that perpetuates that information.
I'm subscribed to love my neighbor.
You're sitting in the same boat with some really hateful people.
Let me help.
You're a racist, a homophobic Christian. Obviously you do.
No, shut up. Shut up. Stop. I know people that hate me, that treat me better about my faith than you, and you're my best friend.
Now, I will say, the whole time George remained pretty respectful while Logan said his religion was silly and even mocked Jesus Christ. George says they have had this built-up animosity for months over this topic, and so I'm not surprised that Logan is now publicly taking aim at his head, especially now that he has pissed him off. It's almost like when you and your girl are beefing, and every little thing she does makes you mad all of a sudden. Like, why the fuck do you gotta eat your food like that?
I want you to say it right now.
Who's right?
Whose God is real?
My God is real in my eyes.
Not Allah.
I don't believe that Allah is real in my eyes.
A lot of Muslims would disagree with you.
But does that mean I have to disrespect their beliefs? No, absolutely not.
And so the debate goes on, and it really comes to a head when Logan tells George that he needs to seek therapy because he is emotionally unintelligent. And basically, that just believing in God...
Bro, if Logan is telling somebody that they need to seek therapy because they're unintelligent, bro, the world is about to end. Feel me?
And the Bible is not enough to sustain a healthy state of
You're the
mental
last
health.
person that should be talking
What category am I following?
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional, me.
Yes.
I'm not emotionally intelligent. Could you pick a time and frame any day of our life?
Here's one. 3 weeks ago when you were sitting in that chair, you stormed off this exact podcast because you were upset about something a comedian said.
And that's when the gloves really come off and the true feelings from George towards Logan really start to come out. And he basically says that Logan will do absolutely anything for power and notoriety, even when that means hurting those that he loves.
I think you're so giant with your words, you really don't know what you step on when you say things. Like, really, like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way or trying to pull at you. I think that you have so much going on in your life and you're so, like, power-driven that you will mold past your friends and family without knowing.
I mean, it's written all over Logan's face that he is not happy with the situation and specifically very annoyed with George. The way he's so dismissive of any point that George makes and combative about his point of view really tells me that he wasn't here to debate, but to condemn George for his beliefs. It's like one person wanting to win a debate while the other is really just trying to have a conversation. And yes, personally, I do hate it when religious individuals tell others they should be religious too. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to give a religious person pushback. But I also think it's just as bad to demand someone to go to therapy, and there's definitely a time and place to talk about this sort of thing. And then when George starts talking about this dark place he was in, like he tried to do on the Bobby Lee podcast, Logan basically tells him that he's a big old puss.
When the 2 years that I had the hardest years of my life was this past 2 years. Did anybody here know this? No one checked in on me. There's some people that can't express, bro. Like
you're asking for a babysitter. You're 29.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying you can't knock something that I've gone through and helped save me.
I'm not knocking that.
But you don't know the steps that I took.
And they're obviously not going to see eye to eye on these topics. Like I said, I think this was all much more of a testament to where the two's relationship lies at the current moment. The tension is obvious.
So are you saying he's going to get canceled? Like, what's the video, bro?
Without taking personal shots at someone for what they believe, especially in regards to something as personal as religion in a conversation amongst friends. All in all, I will give George his credit because he did keep his composure here. I still don't think the dude should be a comedian, but yeah, I had to throw him some bail. Have y'all had similar conversations?
Logan did say some crazy ass. You feel me? That one statement, I ain't gonna lie, still sticking with me. Like it hurt a little bit. You feel me? But so basically, they're saying that he might get canceled. Like what? Or is the title clickbait? Let me know.